You're watching the Finance News Network. I'm Jessica Amir, and joining us now is an emerging LNG and helium producer, Renergen. The company's CEO Stefano Marani is joining us from South Africa. Hi, Stefano. Great to speak to you again, and welcome back to the network.
Thank you very much for having me again.
First up, Stefano, just tell us why the announcement of the US government body OPIC and their loan agreement with Renergen is so significant.
When we came to market with the IPO in June, we'd announced to the market that the OPIC funds were committed, but they were still subject to the execution of the final loan agreement, and that needed to take place by September of this year. And that, potentially left some investors seeing that there was still some potential risk. The execution of this loan agreement now eliminates any possible risk relating to this contract. The funds are now committed and will be receiving the first disbursement within the coming days. Beyond that, the second reason why we feel that this is such a critical milestone for us is that the loan in and of itself just reiterates the strong endorsement from the United States government in not only this project and the fact that this is a great project, but also in the increasing importance of helium as an industrial gas.
And what are the terms of the loan?
Sure, it's a $40 million loan. 12 years in maturity with a grace period on principal repayments of slightly shy of 3 years. It's a fixed rate loan payable semi-annually. The benefit of the fixed rate loan is that we see yields currently, given the global financial situation, as being quite low. And therefore, we believe that we got quite favorable long-term low financing repayments.
And Stefano, how will the proceeds of the loan be used?
The proceeds of this loan are going to be towards the construction of phase one. And that's critically important because it means that we then go into operation and start generating positive cash flow from phase one. Phase one is obviously a relatively modest operation at 2,700 gigajoules per day of LNG and about 350 kilograms of helium per day. But what, combined with the proceeds from the IPO from June earlier this year, it allows us to now explore a specific sandstone trap where we discovered helium concentrations of 11%. And the next phase on that will be the commencement of drilling in the sandstone. And obviously, this is where we see the much larger scale rollout, which would then mean Renergen could potentially become one of the major global helium players.
Changing pace now to the helium market itself, just tell us about the current market conditions.
To say that they are constrained is a bit of an understatement. It's been a confluence of many factors that have led to a situation where the market is heavily undersupplied. So you had the United States Strategic Reserve, colloquially known as the BLM, having its last auction in the course of 2018, and the result of that has been that strategic supplies from the US are now dwindling and almost out. Combined with that, in 2023, you'll see a potential shutdown of another major supplier called the Hugoton field, and all of this is just adding pressure on the supply side. You've got Qatar, which is bringing another potential plant online, but right now the timeline for that isn't cast in stone. The Russia plant, the Amir project, is still a while away. So you've got these big potential supply opportunities to try and correct some of the imbalances caused by the shutdown of the BLM. But these are very, very long lead items. They're very difficult plants to construct when the concentrations are as low as they are in some of the other fields, which means that it's a very complex process to get new supply up and running. So we see this as a sweet spot for Renergen, specifically by virtue of the fact that our concentrations are as high as they are, and our geology is as easy as it is to extract gas. It means that we can quite nicely slot into this specific supply gap.
And just lastly, Stefano, before we let you go, what are the next milestones for Renergen?
The immediate step is drawing down on the OPIC loan, and then that allows us to go and order the liquefiers and commence construction. The construction phase, we will obviously be providing updates both on Twitter and on the website with pictures of breaking ground, etc. The next big milestone for investors to pay attention to is the commencement of drilling in the sandstone. This is obviously the event that a lot of the shareholders are interested in seeing particularly given the magnitude of that sandstone, and identifying what's contained in that sandstone.
Wonderful. Stefano Marani, thank you so much for the update.
Thank you very much for your time.